Episode number 2, I got the Flop Culture on today. They're going to tell us about their podcast a little bit. This is episode number 2 of the Michael Ryder Show. I'm very excited about this one. You guys are going to fucking love this one. So, I got Josh, I got Justin from Flop Culture. They're going to tell us about their podcast and what they love to fucking do. And we're just going to talk about whatever comes up. And I'm really looking forward to this. So, what made y'all start this podcast up?
Daggs first, because this was Daggs' idea from the start.
I just listen to a lot of podcasts. I guess if we're going to be like completely transparent, the last couple years, like I've been like taking medication and stuff for anxiety and depression, and music kind of like didn't soothe my soul anymore, if that makes sense. It kind of like it invoked too much emotion from me, so like I couldn't enjoy it. So I had to find like another outlet. I had to find something else to listen to. And man, you can only drive in silence for so long when you have like a half hour, 45-minute drive every day. So I started listening to podcasts just because, you know, Joe Rogan. Like I love comedy, and that's what started all of this. Yeah. I really love to laugh. I like to make people laugh. It's super fun. But I was just like, there's no way I can do it like Joe Rogan. He's impossible. He's like his He's the mecca of podcast, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's got to be something else I can do. So then I started listening to a couple of dorky podcasts just to see what everybody else sounded like. And have you ever seen the show Comic Book Men?
No, I haven't.
It's a Kevin Smith show, and it's basically, it takes place at his comic book shop, the Secret Stash, in, I think, New Jersey? Is that where it's at, Juice?
I think it's New Jersey.
Yeah, they're Jersey. Yeah, that's right, because Jersey Girl, that's where the... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's Jersey.
So it's in Jersey, and pretty much, like, it just follows them and their lives working at this comic book shop, and it's really dorky and really funny, though. Well, a couple of the guys from the show started doing a podcast, you know, once a week, while the show was airing, and I think even after it stopped airing. And on the podcast, they had Q from Impractical Jokers. I know you've seen that show.
Oh, yeah.
The four friends that joke each other.
Yeah.
So, like, they have a podcast, and, like, I was like, all right, these 3 dudes are, like, the dorkiest dudes I've ever seen in my life. If they can do this, like, I can do this. Like, there's got to be a market for this. And I mean that with all due respect to those guys. I love those guys. But I was like, I can do this. Like, this would be so fun to do this. And then I begrudgingly made this asshole do it.
I mean, hey, I think because I was talking to Josh about this the other night, and I even touched on it on my very first episode. I'm like, man, if it you know, especially with dealing with like the depression, the anxiety, and everything, that's completely, you know, I know exactly how that is and everything. You know, if you're having fun doing it. And, you know, whether you get, you know, 50 views or 1 million, dude, fuck anybody else. If they don't like what you do. Yeah, exactly. You know, that's fun, the way, man. Just have fun with it. Yeah. That's really, at the end of the day, man, that's all it's really about, you know.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's the main reason, you know, why I wanted to start this, you know, because I'm really influenced by Joe Rogan. I think Joe Rogan's the GOAT.
Agreed.
He's great. You know, of course, you know, like, you know, a couple other people as well, but yeah, that's really, I mean, I just love talking to people. I think, you know, that's something that's really kind of gone away from us in the last couple of years, even the last, say, 10 years. You know, now you got cell phones, you don't have to call, you can just text. Where's the communication of that? And, you know, everything just kind of gets put off the wayside sometimes, so. Mm-hmm. But that's what I hope to kind of accomplish with this, so. But, what about you, Josh? What made you want to join this besides...
He did.
You know. What?
My answer is far shorter than Daggs's. He did.
Yeah.
Daggs, he made the pitch in the first place that he had been wanting to do it, but as Daggs has said before, and with our podcast is kind of our tag of it being 2 medicated best friends, and we both, where we have anxiety and depression, once the both of us kind of got that under, I won't say completely under control, but once it got manageable.
Better.
Better. That's probably a better way of putting it. Once that got to a point where it was manageable, Daggs didn't want to do it by himself, and he wanted somebody to do the podcast with.
Well, all my favorite podcasts, like I really, like even Joe, even though like Joe Rogan, it's Joe. He's got Jamie back there all the time. He's like, Jamie, pull it up, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Jamie, can you pull up that pelican that molested that dolphin last week?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, if you look at his very first ones, even
they were rough.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It wasn't
curve, man.
It was him and a laptop with a laptop cam and microphone and
snowflakes coming down.
But it's just cool though. Like they're just talking.
There's a lot of learning to it for one, and then for two, man, you can now we haven't posted them, and chances are great. Just in the time period that's changed since Daggs and I did like what we call the first season of the pod, which was only audio, to the second season of the pod, which is incorporating video. Shit has hit the fan, and I won't say half of our content, but I would say at least a quarter of our content we would have to go through and edit it, because half of the shit would get us like just constant grief of people being like, I can't believe you said that. How could you have this opinion on blah, 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 blah. So
yeah, it's crazy. Juice has these really, really tyrannical, misogynist views.
I do. Just the content. Now, don't get me wrong. There were some funny bits in there in the first season. That's
a joke, by the way. Like he's never.
Obviously,
I think he's overplaying how bad we were a little bit. I think he's just a little scared, and I don't blame him in today's society. I don't think we really said anything that's that bad, but
nothing horrible. Yeah. It's just by today's standard, people throw such a temper tantrum about everything, and our views weren't bad in the sense of like general good versus bad, like morality thing. It was just now the way we kind of look at things. If you have the kind of opinion, or just an opinion in general, people are like, you immediately have to take sides one way or the other. And Daggs and I both were we weren't so adamant on like a one side or the other kind of thing. It just happened to be originally the show was going to be called Unpopular Opinion, was the pod name. Because that was our original title, was Unpopular Opinion, but there were so many. What was it like? There was a bunch of podcasts that already had that name, right?
It was something like called Unpop or something like that, and it's kind of bigger than we were, obviously.
Yeah,
and,
way bigger than we were. Yeah.
So we were like, okay, so we can't do that. So then we started kind of like thinking about. I don't even remember how the name that came up. It was just like Flip or Flop.
Do you remember the name? So it was a poll that we put on Facebook. Not like a bunch of people voted on it. Just like a few of our buddies.
Thanks, Mom.
Flop Culture. Yeah. And what was the other one? Flop Culture and something else. I don't remember what the other name we had was.
I can't remember.
It apparently was not important enough for either one of us to remember. Flop Culture is what ended up winning.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, so that's
winners,
what we rolled
right?
With.
History.
I mean, to be completely honest, on the outside looking in, I thought that was a pretty sweet name. I mean, I'm not saying.
Yeah, we like it.
I thought it was. I've never seen anyone with that name. I was like, that's a pretty dope name. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the names that I was thinking of for me, holy shit.
Oh,
they were fucking god awful.
We had some bad ones, man.
We had some bad.
I mean, I don't even like. I think some of them are like some fucking rip-offs, like Pink Floyd songs or something like that.
I'd have probably liked it then.
Right. No, I mean, nothing wrong with it, but it was just like, man, I can't even think of some of them. Like, I thought of like 20 different ones.
Too bad you're not.
Man, at the end of the day, yeah.
I was gonna say, too bad you're not a hardcore Neil Peart fan like Juice there, because your last name's Ryder. He could name it Ghost Rider.
That's right.
That'd be dope.
I thought about that too. Somebody brought that up. I remember, like, I thought about Midnight Rider, because I remember because back in high school, Coach Moore, he was a teacher there. He always just he's like Midnight. What are you doing? I'm like,
hey,
every day I pass him.
Like, and that's a pretty cool story too.
I was like, nah, man. I was going to make it, simple and to the point. Put it out there, and if something better comes along, but I'm probably going to stick with it. It's
I feel you.
I don't mind it now. I hate just saying my name. I hate it because I remember when I was a kid, for real. I used to be in speech class, for real. I could not say ours for shit. I couldn't
remember that.
Well, it was yeah. I would have a teacher come in every like Thursday or some shit like that, and I was so excited for it because it got me out of class. And like literally, I couldn't say it. I was yes! Like, for real. I was like, yes. I was like, and she'd have me say my name. It was like Michael Ryder. I couldn't say it. I just couldn't do it. Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those suck it moments where like somebody made fun of you for that one day, and then you get to leave like class like every Thursday. They're like, "Where's he going?" And you're just like, "Suck."
Learning how to say
dude, honestly, right? As far as I know of, maybe my mom doesn't, remember as well, but I don't remember anyone ever making fun of me for not seeing my last name.
That's good, man. That's awesome. That just goes to show what kind of shitty people I grew up with.
I mean, hell, they might have after I left the fucking room. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but, I don't even remember you having a speech impediment at all.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like it was like a bad one. It was just ours. That's all it was. I could say everything else. It was just like
I don't even remember, man.
Like, yeah.
But it's been a long time too. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I had that one. I had it from like kindergarten all the way to like 5th grade, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't. I think once middle school came around, they were like, "Nah, fuck you, you're out." I was like, oh, "Okay."
I don't need the speech impediment anymore.
It's like, nah, I don't need it anymore. Yeah, I mean, by the time I hit 4th and 5th grade, I was on Adderall and fucking all kinds of shit, So, but
different meaning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what I came up with the name. I had a buddy help me out with the logo and everything. He just kind of just went on with it as like on his MacBook and just fucking came up with that.
That's awesome. That's the best stuff, man. It's the most organic.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, I honestly, the only thing that I really got from that was the Rolling Stones. They had Doom and Gloom that came out in 2012. The artwork for that, I love that shit. I've always had for the last however long. And I saw that, I was like, man, I kind of want to do something like that. But that's really the only inspiration I got for that was really from that.
What's the Doom and Gloom?
I don't know how you guys. It's like a paintbrush. I don't know. It's got it's just a Rolling Stone. Yeah, and it's just Doom and Gloom. Yeah, that's honestly where I got the idea from.
That's cool,
like the paintbrush and everything. So
yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I know I was talking to Josh the other night about it and everything. So what would you say is like your musical influences of like what got you into like doing rock music and everything like that, Justin?
Me? Oh. No, just kidding. I invented rock. I made it up.
Justin.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. That is weird. It catches me off guard when somebody says that.
It's so weird.
So, as long as I can remember, I've always liked rock music. Like, I'm not trying to even be that kid, too. It's like, I've liked it from the get-go. But I just, like, my parents always listened to, like, Southern rock or some type of, like, soft rock or something like that. Like, my mom specifically. She listened to a lot of Rod Stewart and things like that.
Mom.
So, like, I've listened to a lot of different kind of rock, kinds of rock growing up. But as I started, like, getting that taste for it myself, I really latched on to, I guess some people call it, like, grunge and punk and stuff like that. Like, Nirvana was a huge one. I was obsessed with Nirvana growing up. At one point in time, I could probably play every Nirvana song on guitar, like, no problem. I could have just played it. You could have named it and I'd have played it back to you. Like, I was obsessed. And that's all I ever wanted to be, was a favorite Nirvana song. Oh, God, that's tough. Probably Aneurysm. I just, that I just love that riff, man. It's just so driven, and Kurt's sloppy, but just chaotic sounding lead playing. I just love it, man.
Man, I've always kind of thought about that, like a Nirvana, like what if of some sort, because you had like Dave Grohl come out of, of course, the Foo Fighters and everything like that. I've always kind of wondered, like, what if, Kurt Cobain never, killed himself? Would Nirvana, dissipate? Would they keep making songs,
We're
go
not
away?
Go there, Daggs, are we?
What?
said, "What if Kurt Cobain hadn't killed himself?" I said, "We're not going to go there, are we, Daggs?"
I kind of think he might have been murdered. There's just a lot of evidence that points out that he actually might have been murdered.
Hey, I'm with you on that.
Like,
I'm with you on that.
I'm really not big into conspiracy things, and it might just be because I like the childhood. He's my childhood guitar hero, but there's just a lot of things, man, and especially that confession from I can't remember the guy's name. It's been the confession where he's just talking about her, just like, oh yeah, she offered me straight up cash just to do this. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah. And then the dude gets murdered or ends up dead like a couple of days later. Mm-hmm. And then, like, if you take all that information into context, and then if you take in the information that rumors were that Kurt was sleeping with Courtney Love's bassist at the time, and they were going to leave Seattle and move somewhere else, and Kurt was going to try really hard to get clean and do the right thing for his daughter. Rumors. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I had these conversations with these people, obviously.
Right.
But if you take some of those ideas and possibilities into play, and then read a suicide note again, it doesn't sound much like a suicide note. Like, it kind of start making it sound more like maybe this is just him, like, confessing, like...
Yeah. Right. Oh, I mean, I was thinking about this. The amount of heroin I heard that it was in his system would have been physically impossible to pull a trigger and to hold the shotgun exactly how he had it.
Yeah, like,
physically impossible.
They were even saying somebody that would have, like, his... like level of tolerance to it, it was still so lethal that he's like there's no way.
Yeah.
So it's and then I think what was it, Juice? I think we were talking about this. I think we maybe brought this up on an old episode where there was somebody that was trying to reopen the case and they're shutting they're shutting them down, like they're blocking it from happening.
It was and
it's just man. So if it's like, why are you stopping them? Like why? Like, I don't know.
There's an actual cop that wanted to open it back up, and it got shut down like immediately.
Didn't some people there was a documentary a couple years, like it's been probably about 10 years now or so, but there was a documentary out that like a private investigator actually went around asking questions. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but yeah, he was getting shoved around like this and that. But I don't think he commits suicide.
That dude wrote a book back in. Because I remember seeing the hype stuff about it, because I'm not a Nirvana fan, that's like a Daggs thing, but I do love conspiracy theories, and like that one 100% I believe is true. And that dude wrote a book, and he was doing an interview on a morning show in 2014, because that would have been like the 20th anniversary of him passing. He died in 94, right, Daggs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 94.
94. And that dude was out making like the rounds at morning talk shows talking about that book. And dude, there's just too much evidence. I mean, not even enough to just say that it's plausible or that's reasonable doubt. It's like some of this stuff is just straight up factual. That's like, man, that dude didn't kill himself. Whether people want to say it's Courtney Love had it happen or not, which she did, but whether they want to say it's something else, he was murdered. Like, flat out. I don't know what anybody says.
I mean, I think, she anytime you look at her, she just looks feisty. Like, you just can't,
She looks like the picture that usually accompanies the word chlamydia in sex books. It's like it's just a picture of Courtney Love.
That's terrible.
So this is what it looks like.
She looks like a germ.
She looks like she crawled out of a fucking hole, like for real.
Funny enough.
Yeah, funny enough, her band ain't fucking.
Yeah, funny enough. She did crawl out of a hole.
I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. Maybe I'm different.
I like the band. I hate her. I like her musicians that she had. I think they were solid for grunge. I think she sucked.
I mean,
I think honestly,
she wrote a couple bangers.
Yeah, I think for the most part, she fed off that name, though. She fed off the name.
She did, but I mean, I wouldn't say, you're right. I would say she fed off of it, because I was going to say, you could kind of say Dave Grohl owes a lot of his success to the Nirvana name, too. But at the same time, like, I kind of feel like Dave Grohl is also somebody that kind of has that talent that he would have made it maybe one way or the other.
He probably would have taken.
He's just talented.
Yeah.
I think his time with Nirvana, though, he really got to experiment with being a songwriter, and that's why you got Foo Fighters. I kind of feel like Foo Fighters are what Nirvana would have maybe ended up being if they would have stuck around, or if maybe like, you know, something like that, just with Kurt singing it, and then Dave playing drums, you know, and then doing backup vocals like they've always done. Because I mean, Kurt was a huge pop music fan. He liked the Monkees and stuff like that. He was obsessed with them. So like, and he just did grunge and punk and stuff like that because that's what the scene had. Yeah. And I think you can attest for this too, Josh. Anybody that's been connected to any type of scene whatsoever, you feel this pull to play that style, to fit in, and instead of breaking the mold. So like, and I think that may have where a lot of his depression stemmed from, because he wanted to be a pop star, but everybody that's in that scene's like, music's trash, it's terrible people,
Right.
So that's one thing I like.
Yeah, I think he. I don't know if you agree or not, but I think the problem with him was the fame. I think at the end of the day, he wanted to be a rock star. He wanted to write music. He wanted to be in a band, but I don't think at the end of the day he wanted to be as famous as he thought he would be.
Yeah, I don't think he expected to be like Elvis Presley level of fame.
No,
right?
No, I mean, I think the story is they went over to Europe in '91. And then Smells Like Teen Spirit came out, and boom, they come back, and it's just like a whole different world for them.
Yeah,
you know, that changed music in a complete. You know, you had, of course, the '80s. You had the hair metal scene going up through there, and by the late '80s, it got really like washed up. You know, it was like rinse and repeat. You had you know the banger, you had the power ballad, banger, power ballad, and it was
you're not wrong.
You know, and then you know by '90. I mean, those bands that came out, the hair metal scene, had like Winger, Slaughter, all those guys. They weren't bad bands, but it was just machine wash. Right. And I think those bands were too late in that scene. And by the time it Smells Like Teen Spirit came out, it just opened the floodgates for something completely different. And I think it was needed, in a sense. But yeah, that's exactly what happened with the hair metal scene going into the grunge.
Michael,
that's just my opinion.
Have I ever told you about the time that I met Janie Lane?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I met Janie Lane because he was, for those that might watch and don't know, Janie Lane was the singer in Warrant. And, Janie Lane was, he was playing a night at the Monkey Bar. He was doing
Cherry
a solo
Pie
thing. Yes, that's Cherry Pie.
She's my cherry pie. Yeah, okay.
Cherry Pie guy.
So Janie Lane was doing his solo project, and he was playing a night at the Monkey Bar back when Hydrogen Sunrise, my first band, was playing, and he was the second night. Like, we were that Friday, and his band was going to be there that Saturday. I guess he was already down there anyway, so he was just checking out the venue or whatever. And there he is sitting at the bar. And at the time, this was like post-Celebrity Fit Club. I don't know if anybody remembers that VH1 show where they take famous fat people and try to make them lose weight.
Yeah, but he was like an animal on there.
He didn't ever, like maybe the last week or so, he finally lost weight. But yeah, so he was there, and he's sitting at the bar, and I always go up to the bar and get water before we play. And there's Janie Lane, and I'm like, wow. That's Janie Lane, apparently.
You're such a hard drinker, Juice.
Oh, well, he was hardcore.
It's funny you should say that.
He was, what is it?
What year was this?
Oh, God. Probably 2007? 2006 or 2007. We would have been...
You tell me rate.
High school.
You tell me rate it and get you a beer.
No, Dad did not get me a beer.
What's up with all these good parents, man?
So I see Janie Lane, and the dude makes eye contact with me, and I'm guessing, obviously, the dude's famous, and he is probably used to being approached by people. I didn't give a shit about Warrant or Cherry Pie or Uncle Tom's Cabin. So for me, he's just another dude. So he makes eye contact with me, and it's really awkward. And I'm like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And he shakes my hand or whatever. And he's like, and he said, "Are you coming out to the show tomorrow?" I think is what he pretty sure that's what he said, coming out to the show. And I said, no, my band is playing tonight. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And I just, like, out of nowhere was like, man, I really liked you on Celebrity Fit Club. And then I left. I didn't say shit about his band. I just said I really liked you on Celebrity Fit Club.
That's the reference of where you let him know you know him from. And that's the moment, I guarantee you, that's the moment he realized he's old. He's like,
fuck, man.
I heard something. I heard an interview he did, and he was fucking depressed, like bad. Like,
I'm sure that didn't help.
I mean, he was just like, man, he's like, everywhere I go, I'm the cherry pie guy. Like, just like cherry pie this, cherry pie that, and like for real, he said, I think. Yeah, he said in that interview, he said he wanted to make Uncle Tom's Cabin the single off that album. And the record studio apparently came to him and was like, hey, you got to write something different. We need Love in an Elevator. So he wrote Cherry Pie that fucking night. And ever since then, he's a fucking cherry pie guy. I think he was fucking depressed.
He definitely died in 2011. I'm just Googling it. But at least he went out knowing that at least one person did not say you're the cherry pie guy. One guy was like, you're the Celebrity Fit Club guy that didn't lose any weight.
It's been you. It's you.
Who else?
I might have been what did him in.
Who else was on that show? On this Celebrity Fitness? Like Vince Neil or somebody? Or?
Yeah, he needs to be. Shit, if that show came back out.
Get it, girls.
He would need to be on. Who else would need to be on it today?
Fuck.
My fat ass. Celebrity. Sorry,
celebrity. I was about to say, me and you need to do it, but we just need to lose weight, not the celebrity part.
Shit.
Who actually? Yeah, Vince Neil, 100%. You know who else I think was on that? Young MC. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember Bust a Move. That's like his only hit. But Young MC.
Give me a melody.
It's hard to give that a melody. It's just got a guitar part that goes bow bow, ba-dow bow bow, ba-dow bow.
Is it?
You
were. You got
I feel like if I actually heard this song,
baby, you Bust a Move. Yeah, okay.
That's it.
It was in like every movie in the 90s ever. Or not 90s, early 2000s maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, early 2000s.
No, late 80s, early 90s. You're right.
I was right.
Young MC, I want to say that Bust a Move probably came out in like 87, 88.
Wicked song.
I can Google that and find out.
Yeah, find out for sure. I don't know if we get away with playing the song or not.
89.
YouTube probably won't.
So I was off by
not.
A year.
We might get taken down just for me singing it.
Because we sounded just like it. So yeah, we're probably going to get copyright.
I'll have you know.
Yeah.
I'll have you know. Pitch perfect right here.
He's got an eidetic voice. I mean, it's perfect.
It's kind of insane.
Good. You should. I mean, I thought it sounded good.
Actually, yeah, that's to go back to a question you asked me earlier. Have I been told my guitar playing influence reminds anybody of anybody? No, but I have been told that my singing reminds people of people.
Who?
Typically, it's whoever It's just whoever I'm mimicking at that moment. Usually. No, I get told. Do you guys remember a band? I don't know if you listen to this band or not. Juice Legia.
You and Randall have talked about them.
They were like this awesome metalcore band, dude, that had like these just amazing hooks and like big, beautiful like kill switch engage style choruses and just awesome, just awesome band. And I got told by quite a few people that I sound like him when I'm doing like my metal stuff, like screaming and shit like that. And then I got told by somebody that when I'm singing and playing guitar, I sound like the guy from The Offspring.
Oh.
I said, fuck you, man.
I was like, that one is random.
I said, dance fucking dance like you never had a chance.
I have played shows with Daggs for years. I have been playing music with solely Daggs for like at least going on 3 years now. And never once have I heard Daggs play and go, man, he sounds just like that guy from The Offspring. Only because I don't want to insult him because he doesn't sound like that asshole.
I would have taken any guy from The Office instead of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just...
Man, you sound just like Stanley.
I'd be like, thanks. That's awesome.
So would you take Chad? You take Chad Kroeger?
Yeah, I have no grief with Nickelback.
Me and Michael was talking about this the other night.
Yeah, we talked about this the other night.
Like, I get why people hate on them because, like, I guess if you want to say, like, I don't know, you go ahead. I'm trying to think what I want to say. That is,
he wants to put it in the right way.
I think the thing is with Nickelback is, and I have, I don't, I'm not this type of people that fucking like, man, it's fucking Nickelback, like this and that.
Right.
I never really understood the hate that Nickelback ever got. No. Now, Photograph, I'm not a big Photograph guy.
No.
Any song besides that and Rockstar, because of like MySpace, everybody in 05 had, Rockstar in their MySpace page. But I never really understood the whole. I'm not a big Nickelback guy myself. I think there's a couple good songs they have, but I think a lot of it, I never understood like, why Nickelback got the shit that they ever got. I mean, they were one of the best-selling rock bands of the 2000s in a commercial side of it, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I don't know what.
And they still do pretty cool stuff. Like Chad Kroeger's been doing stuff with Devin Townsend from from Strapping Young Lad and Devin Sound, and then his namesake project, things like that. Like,
Devin's
I mean, I don't really like, and I don't get the Nickelback hate. Like, are they my favorite band? Nah. I mean, not. I could see where like their radio success music's kind of like oversaturated a little bit, just kind of too mundane, just kind of too easy for some people's taste. Usually the people that complain the most about Nickelback I've found are musicians. The people that just enjoy music are like, Nickelback kicks ass, dude, what are you talking about? It's awesome. And
fucking burn to the ground.
Right. But I mean, like, the first time I ever heard Nickelback was that fucking never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing.
How you remind me.
I thought that song was badass when I was growing up. I was like, that's a catchy fucking song, man. So I've always thought he had a good voice. And then when I was teetering on whether I should like him or not, Dimebag Darrell stepped up and was like, hey man, these guys are cool as hell. And I was like, fuck it. If it's good for Dimebag, it's good for me. Like,
man, I think one of the first ones was Feeling Way Too Damn Good. I think that was a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm. Was that one post Silver Side Up?
I think it was. No, it was.
I'm kind of thinking that was The Long Road, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it might have been The Long Road, but it wasn't the one that they came out with. I can't remember the damn name of the album.
We're going to Spotify real quick, and this is going to ruin my Spotify search history.
Spotify,
because it's going to start giving me bands that sound like this.
I hope you get
find out for sure.
I hope you get a new Nickelback song every day. I hope you wake up tomorrow and you put it on random play and the first thing that pops up is How You Remind Me.
You know how mad I'm going to be if all of my suggestions from now on are just fucking bands that sound like Nickelback?
That would be terrible. That would be terrible. Hey. Just because like I can handle the Nickelback suggestions, but people that sound like Nickelback, it's like I don't want to copycat.
Right. Bands that sound like them, I'm going to be like, dude, come on. It was on The Long Road, Michael, 2003.
Okay.
Feeling way too
I was thinking
good.
yep. Because they had Silver Side Up was what, 01 or 2000-ish?
01.
Or is that 01? Yeah, and then that one, because they had I can't remember the name of the 05 album. We had Photograph.
All the right reasons.
Sizable.
Dude,
all the right. Yeah.
We talked about this the other night, man. I don't care what anybody says. Were there songs that were hits on those later Nickelback records that I still look at that are good? Sure. But, man, that album in 99, The State, that was a banger, dude. Like, I'll never knock that record. That was a good record. I'll give him credit all day. The State was a banger.
And
then it went downhill.
I will say this. I will make a pledge right now. The next Nickelback song that comes on, either on my iPod or on the radio, I will fucking turn that bitch up and I will jam it. Regardless, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if it's Photograph or it's fucking...
I was about to say, what if it's Photograph, though?
If it's Photograph, we gotta jam it. We gotta jam it. That's just the way it is. So,
he's like, damn it.
You know how much it's stuck, though? Because Daggs is going to be doing it all the time of going, look at this Photograph! Every time I do it makes me laugh! Hey, all of our future videos are fucked now.
I will say this, and I know me and Josh talked about this a lot the other day, was about 2000s rock and everything.
Right.
You know, the Nickelbacks. Who would you say in the 2000s that you guys listened to? I know Tool, of course, and all them. But, like, I know it's not a very popular decade of the rock side of the music, but what would you guys say you guys listen to the most?
Oh, God. That's when I found me. I listened to a shit ton of Avenged Sevenfold.
Hey, that Avenged Sevenfold album in 07?
Oh. I loved everything, like everything up until what was the one after the self-titled one? It's the one after the White Album.
Was it?
I think it was the
Nightmare.
one. Yeah, I didn't like that one. That's when I kind of stopped. When they lost the rev. Yes, when they lost the rev, I kind of lost my like for them. They lost a little something in there when they lost the rev that was more than just a drummer. It was a key songwriter.
Mike
big
Portnoy
time
has that effect on bands.
So I listened to a lot of that.
Yeah,
a lot of Bleeding Through.
I think.
Bleeding Through.
Oh, dude, I was a Brendan Chapati like fanatic. Like they could do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah. Bleeding Through.
See, I think on the Avenged Sevenfold, real quick, I would say the Hell to the King album in 2013 or 2014. I thought that album was really good. You know, post-rep, though. You know, it's not... And even Nightmare had a couple good bangers on there, like Buried Alive.
Yeah, they still have the ability to write a banger. Yeah, I just don't think they produce good albums.
The consistency of the albums, you know, as we were talking about the other night, like a banger 10 out of 10. You don't see that hardly anymore at all.
No, not really.
No. At least with the bands I listen to, I don't know about you guys, but it's hard to find a band these days that has a consistent, 1 through 10 or 1 through 13 consistently bang, bang, bang. Mm-hmm. You don't see that.
Stuff.
People mostly they're going for singles now. That's really what they're going for.
What would be the last record that you all liked that was start to finish, not a bad song on it?
Ooh, that's...
Damn. Yeah, give me a second.
Start to finish? All right, I'm going to go with one I know off the top of my head. I'm just trying to make sure I know the right name. But, so, like, I've been kind of like... I still love heavy music, and I've always loved heavy music, but I'm kind of a lot more picky as the older I get. I think a lot of people experience that. But, damn, dude, if this record wasn't perfect, and it was Kubla Khan, The Hammer. Oh, my God. From first track to last track, it beats your ass. Like,
yeah, that was a banger.
Oh, my God. Or was it called The Hammer? Was it the album called The Hammer?
It was that record that had it on it. I can't remember the name.
Oh, no, the album's called Nomad. The album's called Nomad.
Sorry. And True Fear and Hammer.
It's just from beginning to end, just epic, man. Just epic.
Man, you're right. I was going to say mine is The Discovery from Born of Osiris. But you're right, Kubla Khan, Nomad is that. Well, man, I'm not going to lie. Self-Destruct, that record was really good, too.
Yeah, it was,
Absolute, dude. Sorry. Absolute is so good from start to finish. I'm still going to stick with The Discovery, I think, though.
I do love that album. I remember that was the album that me and Nathan like really bonded over, like heavy.
Dude,
like that's kind of what started our little bro friendship. Like I think I showed up wearing a shirt or something one day, or had the album.
Yeah,
and he was like, "You got the pre-order too?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro."
He pre-ordered it for the hoodie. I remember him getting it.
It was a sweet hoodie.
That was such a good record, though. Michael, what about you?
Man, I was looking through. Man, that's honestly, I have to go all the way back until like probably 2013 with Alice in Chains. Yeah, Devil put dinosaurs here. I think that's I might
that's
be
a
missing
good album.
between, from front to back, they got everything. They got the hard ones and they got the soft. I mean, I think Alice in Chains, that's one of their best albums. I think even, with Lane Staley or without. I mean, I think that album was fucking kick-ass, in my opinion,
I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan, and that one hit hard. That one hit real hard. Like, I was blown away at how much, I forget the new guy's name, but how much he could pull off the harmonies and sound like Lane Staley. Oh, but he still put his own flavor on it, though. It's so good.
Yeah. I saw him live last August, actually.
But that was awesome.
And I saw them in Korn, man. Korn has always been one of my, more favorite ones, But yeah, Alice in Chains, man, that was pretty sweet to see.
I don't know why I said that. Gathering Swans, Choir Boy's new record.
Oh yeah, you've been banging like Choir Boy like crazy here lately.
That new record. Okay, so yeah, that's my actual answer. The Discovery probably would have been the last one prior to that, but Choir Boy's new record, dude, from start to finish, every song on it is a banger. There's not a bad one on it. Now,
a close follow-up, that would have been the 1975's second album. I almost love that whole thing from front to finish, but there's just a couple of tracks on there that I'm just like, eh.
I'm a debut 1975 person. But I like it when you sleep.
What do you guys think about Ghost? We were talking about Greta Van Fleet the other night, and I didn't bring up Ghost because I wanted to save it for this.
I just answered.
I think, in my opinion, if we're just talking about 2010s and up, I think Ghost is one of the better rock bands of this decade, of the last decade at least. I just want to kind of see what you guys thought about that. I know, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but
look at him.
What do you think?
We might have the same answer, to be honest. Mine the past two times.
I don't like
it. So you guys are.
I hate Ghost, man.
I don't deny their influence, though. They've influenced everybody, and
sure they've got.
I mean, they've hit you on levels of like. I want to call them like Black Sabbath meets Alice Cooper.
You're being very nice. I feel like they're
on levels of influence alone. I'm not saying that I care for the music.
I want you to be completely honest. Like, if they fucking suck, say, "Hey, man, they fucking suck."
I don't. I mean, I'm being honest. Like, I won't disrespect somebody's level of influence. Like, for example, like, would you deny that the Beatles have probably influenced everybody?
Of course not.
I would say the probably three bands that influenced the most people with the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, or Black Sabbath.
Right.
If you ask any rock band, they've at least been influenced by at least one of those three.
So we're all in agreement that they have that level of influence, that you can't deny that. I still think they fucking suck. I don't like the Beatles. I've liked one Beatles album. It's the White Album. That's the only Beatles album I can get into.
Yeah.
I think that I think my issue with Ghost that I get a lot is I get the Alice Cooper bit because they're theatric.
Yes.
But for me, musically, they try to be, and they're not anywhere near as good at trying to do it as him. I think they're trying to be poppy and dark and edgy. But
that's a name I haven't heard for a minute.
I love him. Me and Daggs both love him. Randall loves him. That's why I'm saying, like, I think they're trying to do that dark and edgy thing of like Billy does, but it just comes out like
I feel it.
It comes off lame. Like, their version of doing it seems fake and contrived, whereas him really was taking dark elements and trying to make them poppy, whereas they're taking pop
satanic like views dark. Of like
like, I don't know. That sounds like the same thing, but it's hard to describe their. I don't know. I feel like their shit's just so fake.
I think what turns me off the most about them, honestly, is it's not that it's really terrible music or anything like that, because it's not bad. It sounds better than the majority of shit that's on the radio. But have you ever seen I think it's Tales from the Crypt, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Tales from the Dark Side. One of those anthology shows, where like every episode's a new character, and new people, and a new story and things like that. Well, there was an episode called Life Metal, okay? And it was this death metal band that had this idea to flip everything and become life metal, and that was their excuse to writing pop music. It's not pop, it's life metal. Yeah. And I feel that's Ghost. It's life metal.
That's a good way.
I think the one thing that I would say that kind of draws me to Ghost, is mostly the guitar of it. I think they, everything else to me kind of sounds, played off, but the guitar to me kind of draws me in, or I feel like they try to force to be somebody they're not. I do notice that a lot, but I mean, as a guitar sound, and that's very far in between these days. You don't have a lot of bands put out, it's more electronic.
That's true.
Sounding to me. That's the way I kind of come off of it. So I was like, man, this fucking band actually plays guitar, gets guitar solos. How many rock bands these days have guitar solos?
True.
Now, you hear on the radio that, what I'm saying, I know there's other ones that don't get on the radio that have guitar solos.
That's true.
But the majority of people, they don't really hear the guitar solo anymore. And I'll dig a guitar solo. Like, I love it.
Hey, man,
that's
whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote. I think Daggs and me are very similar in terms of what we like about music. Is we like the rhythm and we like the riff more than we like the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you feel the rhythm of the night?
Pretty much the barge is what we're going with. We really like the barge. No, I mean, like, if you look at Daggs got me into, like, what is... It flips sometimes, but generally I would say Daggs' favorite band is Every Time I Die.
Oh, yeah. And they sit, like, my little pyramid of top 5. Like, I have this thing in my mind. It's the top 10, right?
Who's your top 5?
You
want to do? Yeah, give me your top 5 once you get.
Okay, so the top 5, I finally locked in my life. That's not true. I have a top 3 I've locked in. There's 2 in the top 5 that kind of rotate, but I do have a solid top 3 that have been the most influential musically in my life. Period, hands down. They will always reign supreme over any band for me. That's number 1, Every Time I Die. Number 2, Norma Jean, and number 3, He Is Legend. And then 4 through 10 gets very obscure.
Yeah, but so the top three are locked in.
Like those will never. I've never heard bands that have moved me as much as those 3 bands. Like, those 3 bands have influenced the way I've wanted to play guitar. Those 3 bands have influenced the way I want to sing, how I want to write. They've influenced my thoughts. They've inspired me to try harder, do better. I very, very seldom get into the lyrics of bands because I feel like most people are full of shit, and I feel like most songwriting is just full of shit. It's just they're just trying to get you, hook you on something. They're not trying to touch your soul. That's you making those feelings. They didn't do shit. Like they had a really good, because you can take like a phrase and have somebody say something and you'll have nothing. But you have them say the same thing, but have like some like slow piano or something building into it, and the hair on your neck stands up. It's not him. It's not what he's saying. It's just you and you reacting to the vibrations of the music and all that shit. Yeah, I seriously believe all that crazy stuff. But with all that being said, those 3 bands, when I read those lyrics, I'm just like, I feel like there's some meaning there for me. I'm totally just making it up, but that's how I feel. Just.
I mean, there's been times that I've been driving down the road and I'll get fucking like goosebumps off a fucking song.
Oh yeah,
and that's how you know that fucking song, like that, whether it's the lyrics or whether it's a guitar solo, the riff, or the whatever. And there's, I mean, if you get goosebumps, that's some real shit.
Oh yes, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
I still do with Alex solo and La Villa Strangiato. Like, that gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. I don't care how many times I hear the song. That solo gives me goosebumps.
There's an Amity Affliction song, R.I.P. Bond. That makes my hair stand up on my neck every time I hear that chorus, man. Like, it's just excites you.
Man, I'll tell you one band that will never leave the top 10 or the top 5 is Pink Floyd to me. Like, Pink Floyd to me is I would probably consider them my number one in all reality.
Wow.
Everything about Pink Floyd, just from the very first album to the very last one, everything. I love with Dave Gilmour, without Dave Gilmour, whoever, without Roger Waters. To me, Pink Floyd is number one for me. Then you got I'm a huge 3 Days Grace, Linkin Park, but also Led Zeppelin at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Linkin Park. I think there's definitely Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's number one. Always will be number one.
I like
After that, it
Floyd.
kind of gets skewed a little bit.
I like a lot of Pink Floyd. My favorite is Gilmour Pink Floyd. I just love David Gilmour's guitar playing.
Yeah.
But I also I like Sid Barrett Pink Floyd too. It's pretty wild.
You can. I just don't think you can go wrong with any of it.
That's true.
For any
And
type
you got a different
of
flavor. Every album's a different flavor.
I mean, it's just, if you want to trip or something, boom, Pink Floyd's your shit. If you want to just sit there and relax, Pink Floyd's your shit.
It's true.
And that's, Gilmour's, those the Momentary Lapse of Reason and Division Bell. The guitar on that is, man, he's, I can't,
I love him.
Sweet.
I love him. I love Gilmour's singing voice too. I think he's got a nice voice, man.
Yeah.
Like Breathes. Breathes one of those songs that can kind of like get your hair standing up. Breathe the air. It's just just.
I feel like my 4 stays consistent, and then it's number 5 that kind of fluctuates. But I know my top 4 that always stays the same. Then the number 5 can kind of fluctuate. But obviously anybody knows Rush is number 1. Zeppelin would be 2. Beck would be 3. Duran Duran would be 4. And 5, like I said, man, 5 switches. It's usually only between like 2 bands that it fluctuates between. It's between Tool and Yes. And it flips between them because sometimes I'm in a slightly like my normal depressed kind of shitty mood. Tool takes 5. But if I'm in like a good mood to where I just zone out, Yes takes number 5 because they're slightly more iambic versus like Tool is obviously very dark.
Tool finally moved into my top 10 actually. I finally gave in and realized that fucking when it comes to like, I didn't like Tool for the longest time. I just didn't understand it. Just couldn't get into it. I was like, I don't get it, man. And it took this new album, one song specifically, like really got me hooked on them. And God, what was it? Was it Seventh or something like that? Something weird like that.
I listened to a couple songs off that album after we got done talking the other night.
Oh man, it's such a good album. Pneuma is the banger off of that record. I love Pneuma. The drums are great. The riff is great. Maynard's vocals are great.
Tempest. So like I watched
it's got the 7 in it.
Yeah, so like I watched I was like doing some guitar classes. Like I've been taking some online guitar classes to get better at theory and shit. And they had a lesson that it was, of course, a tool lesson. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna check it out. Might as well, I want to see what makes him stand out as a guitar player. I know a lot about everybody else. Might as well learn about him too. And he did this little lesson talking about Tempest because, like, I think you could listen. It was one of the songs you could hear early or something like that. And
I think it was.
And it's just in this weird kind of like, it's in this weird timing frame, like not timing frame, a timing signature. And like the drums are playing like in one signature, and like the guitar's playing in another, and just the way everything ties up, man, it's masterful. It's just, and like I finally got it. Like when I watched somebody play it on guitar and I heard it without everything, and then heard it with everything, it just made sense. I was like, oh, I get it. And then it just like opened up a world to me, and then I started going back and listening to old Tool albums, and I was like, I get it! Oh my god, I get it! It just like started. I started understanding I started like getting like understanding the complex timings a little bit better, and I was like, I can follow it. I'm not an idiot. It turns out if you don't like Tool, you're just stupid.
I mean, it kind of. I wouldn't necessarily call it the same, but another thing we brought up the other night was the whole Fall Out Boy shit. You know, I said I was like in high school. I fucking hated Fall Out Boy.
Yeah,
loved it.
I hated it. And then once I got out of high school, you know, I started listening to them, and I listened to them not on a regular basis. I mean, I wouldn't say they're, you know, but yeah. I mean, I thought they have some really good songs. But I'll tell you another band in the '80s that was Flock of Seagulls.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge Flock. I love Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah,
oh dude, I love 80s pop. I think we talk about this all the time. Actually, like I'm a sucker for 80s pop, man. Like that's some of the best music, like period. Like
really like you hear like the Cars, like
yes, absolutely.
You know all those. Like,
you're basically picking out my work playlist right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guitar and a synthesizer, you know, go great together in my opinion. You know,
absolutely, man. It teaches you how to use space. Like it's really awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a really couple good bands. You know, I think just the whole early '80s vibe, like if you just watch the music video, of course, that was when MTV just started coming out and everything. You had like the space looking shit. You know, like I Ran by Flock of Seagulls, like that music video was just like, you know.
Look at the video to Rio, man, by Duran Duran. That shit was wild. And it made no sense.
Yeah.
But here now, man.
I mean,
I walk along the avenue. Never thought of
I'll tell you.
Space Age love songs are banger, too.
I know, but like I heard that song so many times in my head growing up because I played GTA 3 so much. Or not GTA 3, but GTA Vice City. That song's forever burnt in my head.
Oh yeah,
dude, that commercial played probably 20 times a day.
And every time you saw it, you were just like,
You'd hear 30 seconds of fucking I Ran by Flock of Seagulls, and then you see Tommy Vercetti walking through there.
Yeah,
you're like, man, I got to buy the fucking game.
You're like, this is dope. You're like,
what a great game!
Oh,
that's the best GTA.
Hey man, dude, I think. If someone asked me, what would you say is the best GTA game? You know, you just said Vice City.
Tough.
Oh, yeah.
But,
it would either be that one or San Andreas. Because I feel like... I definitely played Vice City more, though. Like, I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Like, I definitely... If I go back and you really couldn't. Yeah. And what I loved about Vice City the most was I had it on Xbox, the original Xbox. And you could, like, rip your CDs and stuff to the Xbox, man. So, and then after you did that, you could get into the cars and go to the radio station and go to your radio and just start picking your music. So, like, yeah, like, it was badass, dude. I'm, like, driving down the road shooting people, listening to the Misfits, you know. It's I got something to say.
Yeah, I think, see, I remember I go to my dad's on the weekends and, like, and he would not, like, the only way he would let me play Vice City is if I had to listen to, V-Rock.
Oh yeah,
V-Rock had like the hair metal and everything. That's you just let me sit there and play the game, and you know, you're like, turn on V-Rock. I'm like, all right. So,
that's awesome. He's like, well, if I gotta watch him play, I'm gonna at least listen to good music.
Yeah, I was like, I mean,
that's a fair compromise.
I think the soundtrack. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. You know, and you know, I couldn't complain about that. You know,
hell no, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
No problem.
Like, no, I was no complaints about that. No, but I think, you know, San Andreas to me, you know, if you look at story mode, and don't get me wrong, I fucking love Vice City. Vice City is, you know, 24 karat gold, as they said in the game.
Right.
You know, it's great. I love it. But San Andreas, what they were able to do, you know, map wise, size wise. You know, missions, 82 missions or something like that in the game on an outdated PS2s. You know, you couldn't beat that. And then I was so disappointed when GTA 4 came out. I thought it was a bust to me.
I agree, man.
What they were,
I catch a lot of shit for that too.
Yeah, I thought it was a letdown. I thought it was a letdown.
I thought it was too, man, because everybody's like, "Oh, the story's so good," and I was like, "It's not that good." Like,
it really wasn't that good.
No, it was ass.
Yeah,
I thought.
4 sucked, and the gameplay was terrible. Like, just the motion blur was so bad through that whole game.
Yeah.
I hated 4. I do love going back to Liberty City because it flips between Vice City will always be number 1, but GTA 3 holds, like, since that was the first voyeur into 3D
that was a fun
environment.
Yeah.
Oh, I love GTA 3, man. The amount of time I played that game, I might have even played it more than Vice City.
I know I played that one more than Vice City, but I'd still like Vice City more.
But Vice City was more fun,
just
and it had a better story.
When you can take those ninja style, whatever you want to call them, like street bikes, racing bike, whatever things.
Oh yeah, the crotch rockets.
There you go. When you can take those and hit a ramp and go halfway across the damn city, I mean, yes, you have my vote.
Yeah,
like, I'm just
that's the game.
Like that.
Man,
oh my God.
The only thing I would change about Vice City is a bigger map. That's the
I
only thing I would change.
I wish it was bigger.
Oh, everything else. Yeah. Other than that, man, I'm hoping, I'm praying that GTA 6 is in Vice City with a bigger map. You know, you get some, Everglades in there. You get a couple
dope.
small, something of that nature. But Vice City, you can't go wrong with either one of the three. Vice City, GTA 3, or San Andreas, or even 5. Just by what 5 is able to do money wise.
Mm-hmm.
Being out since 2013, and it's still one of the best selling fucking games.
Yeah, still sells.
I mean,
fuck, man, I just hope GTA 6 comes out. Let alone where the fuck it's based. We haven't heard shit about that game, and it's been
I'll be fucking
years.
40 when that bitch comes out. Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy. Like that, the fact that you haven't heard. I mean, you've heard like whether they're reputable or not. You heard leaks, but like you have not heard an official statement about a AAA title in 7 years from Rockstar, and that's wild because it typically takes like if you look back from I think it was San Andreas to 4, that was like 7 or 8 years. 4 to GTA 5 was something like 6 or 7 years. It was a big gap.
4 or 5, it was,
But that meant game to game it had come out. We're at 7 years and you haven't heard a fucking word about GTA 6 eventually. That's crazy, dude. But
I think the thing was, what was that?
They make so much money off of 5. Why would they be incentivized to put out a new game? Like, they're still raking in cash off of an old title.
Well, they're coming out with an updated model. They're revamping it for the 5 and the Xbox Series X. Yeah, so they're not even, I don't know what the price is or anything, or how they're going to do it or what all. They're like upgrading a couple different things.
Right.
But it just, man, but I see what Red Dead 2 did. If you look at Red Dead 2, and that's what really got me excited, for GTA 6, is how how that map looked, the story mode of that. Yeah. I mean, GTA 6 would be fucking sweet. When and if it comes out.
Red Dead 2 is awesome. I'd even say I liked it way better than the first one. Like, story and everything.
Oh, no, I agree.
Like,
that's one of the greatest games of all time to me.
What'd you think about the ending?
Oh my god. I love a good ending. I love a good ending that like really provokes emotion.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
You really get to know Arthur. So like
Arthur.
when he dies, you're just like you're like
spoiler alert.
Hey, how long has that game been out? Kiss my ass.
For anybody watching, that was a spoiler alert.
Whatever.
Yeah, we'll put a disclaimer in the.
That game's been out for like 3 years. I'll tell you the same thing I told Evan. You've had 2 years to buy it and play it. It's not my fault you're not up with it.
I agree. But what movie were we talking about in the last episode when we went out in car chat and we had made the joke and said, spoiler alert, but if you haven't already watched it, chances are great you weren't going to. It's the same thing with Red Dead. If you haven't already played it and beat it,
you're not gonna.
You never were going to.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I love it. Like, but because you're just like out of all these assholes, he's the one that gets sick and come on.
Right.
Oh, dude,
Micah.
Man,
Micah didn't get sick.
Fuck him. I'd fucking my horse kick the shit out of that motherfucker.
I've never wanted to kill a character more in a video game than I did Micah. I was like,
a fucking snake.
Like I played that game just thinking, like, please give me a chance to where I can choose to like beat him to death instead of shoot him. I just want to beat him to death.
Hey,
like,
we didn't get it.
The time when you could have got him out of jail. You know, when you break him out of jail, when they're like, oh, break him out of jail, and he shoots up Strawberry or whatever the fucking town is.
I was ready to kill him right there. I was ready to kill him right there. I was like, when I heard him go in and shoot the woman and take his guns, I was like, let me shoot him now. I was like, let me shoot him now.
Right.
I was like, this dude doesn't keep a low profile. I was like, he's gonna get us caught.
Yeah, he's that's a diamondback snake right there. Like, that is a snake.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but a great game though. Great story.
Absolutely.
Fantastic game.
I thought it was really cool. Yeah, I thought it was really cool after Arthur died and everything. Whatever. Everyone knows.
Right.
Then when you get to play with John Marston. When you're building the house, and you got Charles comes back around. The characters in that, like Sadie Adler. Those were great characters.
Oh, they were great, man.
Great character. Great character.
I just love that game because I feel like every character I got like attached to are the ones that started getting pegged off. Like, you're like, no! Like, every time you like somebody, they end up dying. You're like, what the hell? And it just really pulls it out of you. Like, what was it, Thomas? Was that his name?
Which one?
I can't remember.
Hosea got
Hosea was the old man, and I hated that. I think his name was Thomas.
Hosea was the glue.
Yeah, man.
I love Lenny.
What was his name? Lenny.
That's who I'm thinking of. Lenny's who I'm thinking of.
Great.
Lenny he was the best one to go on missions with you. I swear he was a better shot than any of the other characters. I swear he was.
Yeah, Lenny was great.
Yeah.
Charles was cool too, but Lenny was my favorite.
I like Charles a lot too.
Yeah, Charles.
Well, Charles lives though.
Yeah, Charles is sweet.
Hosea was good too, but yeah, Daggs has got a point. Lenny was my favorite. For sure.
I was a big Hosea guy. I thought Hosea, in my opinion, was the glue that held the gang itself, and also I'm drawing a blank right now on who. Oh fuck! Who's the main guy in the gang?
Dutch.
Yeah, I mean, because Hosea and Dutch. Like, he held Dutch, because Dutch was, going off the rails there a little bit, and Hosea was like, hey, might want to come back over.
Yeah.
And then once Hosea was gone, Micah started sneaking back up in there, and that was about it for that.
Yeah, it was, that was a pretty wild part of the game. Like, they really, I can't think of a better way to put it than they just really invoke, like, natural, real emotions from you. Like, you feel invested in these characters. Like when this character dies, you kind of feel like you lost a family member almost. You're like, son of a bitch, man, that sucks. Like,
right.
Especially when you go back to see his grave, man.
Yeah, and then they thought to put that level of detail in the game. Like, you could do. Did you know that if you go to all the graves, you get an achievement for it?
Yeah, it's
you get a pay.
Yeah.
I was like, that's insane.
That's great. Michael.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I do appreciate you guys coming on tonight. It's been a lot of fun, for real. So, but yeah, you guys definitely have to come back once I get everything kind of set up and everything. I'll bring you guys over and we'll talk, in person and everything. But I do appreciate you guys coming on. So I want to give you guys, hey, follow these guys, Flop Culture, on Facebook, and subscribe to their page on YouTube. And also continue to please subscribe, my page as well. But these guys are awesome. If you love music, video games, any of that stuff like that, please follow these guys. These guys are fucking awesome. So, thank you guys. You guys are fucking sweet.
Man.
Keep it floppy.
Oh man! Dang, did it. Damn.
It's not our show, so it's okay.
That's true. That's not our show, so we're okay to do it. That's
all right.